Hello, it's Mike. NoStressMike.com. Today I went to court. It wasn't for me. It was one of my business associates. And like I always say, in Guatemala, they have the same problems in Guatemala as they do in the United States. It's just more obvious. And what it was, we got to remember, I don't understand the language. So I'm sitting there and watching what's going on. All I have is body language to go by. Remember, I don't understand what they're talking about. So I make my judgments on what I see. And one thing I know, in the United States, the laws are screwed up really, really bad. The justice system is really screwed up. And it dawned on me while I'm sitting there watching what's going on, it dawned on me the whole judicial system is screwed up. Well, I really can't say exactly what we're in there for, but what I noticed was the whole system, like I say, everything's obvious here, and the whole system is based on procedures. That's all it is. It's just procedures. I think it's funny because by now you've realized I don't run my life on procedures, because different countries, different cultures. Like I said, I'm half Chinese, half American. So when I go from one world to the next world, I know I'm going into different worlds. And I don't understand any of them totally. And because just like everything, there's exceptions to the rule on everything. So that's why when you hear me talking about something, more than likely I'm talking something in general. And there's always going to be exceptions. And a good example, me, I'm an exception for any kind of rule that comes around, that I get around involved in anyway. But the thing that I noticed is I was watching, and they, the plaintiff, I think they call it, no, defense, I think it's defense, the ones being accused of something. His lawyer, he didn't say nothing, and his lawyer talked for 30 minutes, and then and like I say, I don't understand what they're saying, so I'm sitting there watching the body language of not only the lawyer that's doing the talking, but the plaintiff, and there was, I don't know if there's two lawyers, but there was him and two. One was a lawyer, and one, I don't know if he was a lawyer or not. They would talk to the lawyer. These two guys would talk. So, but anyway, and then there was the judge, and then I don't know what you call the clerk or something that would sit kind of close to the judge, and they'd get up and go over and talk to the judge, and they'd whisper back and forth, and this kept going. And then so it was 30 minutes of that, and then the other one, I don't know, defense or plaintiff, one or the other, and the ones accusing the other one, whatever that one is, and all this is in Spanish, so I don't know. And he spoke 30 minutes, so. And nonstop, everybody just sat there and listened to what these people say. And the funny thing is, what they were saying, they were reading it off the paper like a script, but I mean, it's not like they would bring their eyes up. They just sat there and read and read and read. And it was kind of cool because they had microphones going. For whoever it was that was talking would have the microphone. And so they were recording all this. And so the whole thing is recorded. Now, whenever the judge is talking to the judge's helper, it's funny because there's red light around the microphone so you could see it was on. And then so then the judge's helper would come over there and they push the button, the light would go out, and then they'd talk, and then, you know, I don't know what they're talking about or what they're doing. And it was funny because they had stacks of papers that were bounded. You know, they had the 2 holes in there, and then they put the wire things in there and close them. And they were that thick. They had probably between 6 and 8 of these things. So everything is in paper, on paper. And like I say, they're recording what they're talking about. And okay, so it's 30 minutes and 30 minutes, and then they'd say a little bit, and then that one would say a little bit, and then it ended up, it was let's see, about almost 2 hours, almost. And it was funny because now we come back next week. This is Monday, and we're going to come back the next week. And that's what I asked them. Well, what happened? How did it, you know, I mean, was it everything good? Was it bad? Did it turn out what you wanted? It didn't turn out, or what, you know? And they said, well, we'll just come back next week and we'll find out. So, you know, it was really odd, you know. And the thing that made me start thinking about, you know, all there is procedure on this. And like I say, I run my life on manning up, being moral, trying to do the right thing. And when I don't do the right thing, that's when manning up comes up. You know, it's funny, kind of like I had a comment, and it was a nasty comment. I mean, the guy said bad things, and it was funny because it was yesterday, and yesterday afternoon I was bored, and normally I just let nasty comments go by, and so then he said something, and you know, and then I replied with, well, you know, personal responsibility is a good thing, and then he came back with even nastier, and he kept getting nastier and nastier, and finally, you know, it was funny. He says, "What makes you qualified to talk about whatever it was I was talking about?" And so then, you know, and then I told him, well, I've got experience, and he says, well, like how much? You know, how much experience you have? You know, I mean, like, oh, it was a shooting thing or something about guns, and so, you know, like if I go to the range and shoot, so now that means I've got a useful advice, you know. And I said, no, I mean, I got real experience. And he says, and then he said bad things and everything. He was rude. He was really nasty. And so then I said, you know, I'll tell you what, how many examples of experience I need to share with you before you think that you'll open up your mind? And how many experiences do I need for you to apologize for being rude? And I mean, he got nasty, you know. So, and he wouldn't answer the question on how many. And but like I say, I don't have all the diplomas or degrees or certifications for the stuff I do. You know, I mean, you know, shootouts, they don't give you a diploma or anything to get living through a shootout, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So, you know, I mean, I just, you know, that was it. And so finally, like I said, I gave him a whole list of stuff, and I told him, it's okay, all you got to do is just man up now. you know, or you can continue being a jerk. No make any difference to me. But I gave him an opportunity to man up, and it was funny because I lived my life like that, and my wife never, whenever I screwed up, she would tell me I screwed up, and then she'd tell me to go apologize or do whatever I got to do to make it right. Why? Because I'm manning up. I'm taking personal responsibility, and I guess women don't make as many mistakes as men do. So men is a little bit more challenging, you know. And then it's funny because they get stubborn and they won't admit when they're wrong, you know. So, but that's exactly what was happening in the court. That's what I thought was so funny. Nothing had anything to do with manning up, doing the right thing, and which I thought was funny because we wouldn't even be going to court if it was a man, and if he would have manned up and admitted, and then just go on and do whatever he got to do to fix it. And it doesn't even include jail time if he would man up. But since he doesn't man up, it could turn into jail time. And I wonder, is that the way it is? I've never been to court. Well, I went to one court, traffic court in the United States. But I was thinking, if all of my screw-ups that makes it where I have to go to court, if they all involve money, all I just got to do is pay, you know. I mean, how hard is it to man up if all you're doing is just paying, you know? I mean, I don't understand what the problem is. But like I say, the thing is, it doesn't have nothing to do with that. That's what I'm talking about. The justice system does not allow, how do I say that? Doesn't allow the man to man up, I guess. Because I would think it'd be a whole lot easier for the man just to go on and man up to whatever he screwed up. Just, you know, no big deal. But it doesn't have anything to do with it. It doesn't have anything to do with the morals. You know, it all has to do with law. And the funny thing is, law is made by our lawmakers, and they're corrupt because they don't follow the laws. They make the laws for us, and they make exceptions for themselves, our lawmakers. And it's not just the United States. That's a lot of places. I can't say every place, but a lot of places. But here in Guatemala is kind of like the United States. The lawmakers are different. Their pay is different. Their hospitalization is different. Retirement is different. Everything is different, and it's different to their advantage. And so, what I'm saying is, we are having to go by laws, and we are judged by the judges, and the lawyers represent us, in which you could be a complete butthole, an evil person, and it's okay. The law says it's all right. Doesn't that tell you that the law is really screwed up? The judicial system is screwed up. I mean, I don't understand it. I really don't. And like I say, I've avoided the judicial system pretty much all my life. And as you know by now, I've done a lot of stuff that's sure not legal. A lot of things I do aren't legal. So it doesn't have to do with legal. It has what to do is getting into the system. Now we're right back to what I teach. I teach people don't get involved into the system. And one of those systems is the judicial system. That's why I talk about negotiating, bribing, There's ways you avoid the system because the system is screwed up. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.